Hi, students. So yesterday you should have sent me that last body paragraph. That was your 6-8 assignment. And then let's look at what we have to do today. So today your essay should be completed and everyone's really relieved and excited about that. We're writing our concluding paragraphs. When I was in high school, I hated writing conclusions. I thought that they were pointless. I thought that they were boring. I thought that they just reiterated everything that I'd already said. And I thought that they were useless, and I just put off writing them. I wrote the whole essay, and then I would spend a day or two just procrastinating on writing the conclusion. Now, and since in college I kind of learned better ways to approach a conclusion paragraph that aren't just explaining exactly what you already wrote, but it gives you kind of different strategies that can make it a little bit more interesting to write and just give you kind of a different perspective. So today we'll go over how to write a conclusion paragraph. We'll give you some tips and some hints. You'll write your own conclusion paragraph, then you'll read over your essay again, correct spelling, grammar, formatting, any ideas, etc. And then you'll submit your final copy of your essay to me, nice and clean, ready to go. Submit it. That's it. And you're done with your essay. Again, if you won that Kahoot game 2 weeks ago, your essay, you can just submit that tomorrow. No big deal. And we're always this whole week working on makeup work you owe me so I can pass you for remote learning and for the year. Please, please, please be doing your work so we can all get through this with a nice summer break. Tomorrow, the Kahoot winners' essays will be due, and tomorrow there'll be 2 different extra credit opportunities, a survey on good teaching methods and what worked for you this year, what didn't when we were in school and with remote learning, and a survey about summer reading via Google Forms, and making sure you understand what you have to do for summer reading, which you'll get emailed to you as well. On the 11th, on Thursday, it's going to look pretty similar. I'm planning on some sort of goodbye Zoom call just to jump on. That'll be for extra credit too. You can come on, you can say goodbye, you can tell me what your summer plans are, and we can just kind of see each other's faces one last time, but that's totally optional. And then the extra credit surveys, making up work you owe me, as all of these days. This is your last day to get work into me because, again, grades close and are submitted on the 12th. You can still send me the surveys, either the extra credit one or the summer reading one, via Google Forms. Okay. So that's what the week again looks like, and this is what today looks like, writing our conclusion paragraphs. So how do we write a good conclusion? What are some steps to write a conclusion paragraph? Let's look. You can try just one of these methods, a combination of these methods, or just the last one, and we'll get there. So the first method is the kind of boring method. These first 2 are kind of what you've probably been used to in your classes, rephrasing or restating your thesis statement. Look at your thesis statement, look at what it's saying, look at the topics you're trying to address, and then explain it in different words. So if your thesis, the very popular Romeo is impulsive and it leads to these negative outcomes, you might just explore again, what were the negative outcomes, what were the consequences, how was Romeo kind of affected by these, how were people around him affected by these, just kind of rephrase what you meant, what you were saying, and what your main points were. Summarize, don't re-explain the main ideas, just summarize them. Don't go into big detail. Conclusions shouldn't be super, super long. That was what your body paragraphs were for. Your body paragraphs were for explaining to me what your points are and how you can back up your points. There should be no backing up of points in the conclusion. It's just boom, 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 here were my points, and this is what was said. But don't say I, me, my in that. Don't say here were my points. So think about what you said in your body paragraphs, briefly restate them. Summarize your own final thoughts. So these are 2 ways that I kind of think that you can write a conclusion to make them more interesting to write for yourself and also to read for the reader. So summarize your own final thoughts. Do you have any thoughts or ideas about your essay? Write about that, except don't say in my opinion or my thoughts are. In the original prompt that I sent you and I explained to you a long time ago, I did address what you could talk about in your conclusion. It should be a wrap-up of previous statements, reiterate the character's final flaw and the downfall, while also commenting on the idea of the fatal flaw in general. So this is you kind of giving your own thoughts here, not saying I, me, my, in my opinion, right? You're just stating the obvious, stating it like they're facts, right? So you're talking about considering, is it always a bad thing to have this this fatal flaw. Why do you think so? Was your character a victim of other circumstances, or was it simply his or her fatal flaw that ultimately led to his or her tragic end? Could the story have ended differently had your character made different choices? So these are interesting, unique, thoughtful ideas to explore in your conclusion as kind of a wrap up. One of you students earlier in your essay was talking about, like, your thesis said that impulsivity of Romeo's led to negative things, but then one of your body paragraphs is talking about some of the positives that the impulsivity led to. For example, if none of the impulsive acts happened, Romeo and Juliet wouldn't have died, which wouldn't have led to the families reconciling in the end and becoming closer again, and it wouldn't have ended the fighting. So you said that positive, and I said save that for the conclusion paragraph, because that's kind of saying the opposite. And your other thoughts on it, it's kind of giving this other perspective. Does this fatal flaw always have to be a bad thing? Maybe impulsivity can sometimes be good. It can give you a fresh perspective on life. It can make things more interesting. So you can kind of say a lot in your conclusion that would be kind of interesting and less repetitive. Additionally, you could always provide a call to action or make a comment about society as a whole. So are people in that society, do you think they tended to be more impulsive than people in today's society? Less impulsive than people of today's society? Is this significant enough to comment on? Think about if this is a persuasive essay, which it's really not, but if it was, you might want to try and motivate people to change their belief to what you're writing. So if you think about, like, way back when I taught you how to write an introduction paragraph, and I used the homework example, and I said homework should be outlawed in schools because of these reasons, this might be your time to make this call to action, this final push to get people to agree with your point. If you're writing about anything else, so this is like if you're writing about impulsivity, Romeo and Juliet, and the effects of it, you might want to make generalizations about how what you said connects to society, or how they usually act, or how your ideas connect with a bigger trend, theme, or idea in life. So if you're saying impulsivity is a bad thing, if you're saying aggression is a bad thing, I think that in today's society, you can absolutely talk about how aggression is a bad thing, how an overabundance of aggression can lead to negative ends, connect it to some modern day events that are happening that include aggression. If you say isolation is a bad thing, connect to modern day events that include isolation, make it relevant, connect it to something bigger, a theme, a trend, an idea in life. It can kind of help you give shape to your essay, give purpose and meaning to your essay, and again, makes it more interesting for you to write and for the reader to read. So you have a lot of choices when you're writing this conclusion. You can restate your thesis statement, re-summarize briefly what you've already written, or you can kind of give your own opinions and thoughts on it, offer a contradicting opinion, kind of explore the ideas of whatever you're writing about in general, impulsivity, aggression, naivety, whatever it may be, or provide a call to action, make a comment about society. How does this connect to today's world? How does it connect to what was happening 1,000 years ago? How is that similar to today's world? Make universal statements, general themes. That's why we read literature, because we can see, oh wow, Odysseus being prideful, that kind of stuff still happens today. The effects of that still happen today. So there's a lot that you can write, and I hope that you don't feel limited in your conclusion to just reiterating boring what you've already written, right? So you have a lot of options, and hopefully you kind of have a good grasp of what you can write for a conclusion paragraph. Hopefully this was kind of clear to you, and you're going to get this as a hard copy, notes obviously emailed to you as well. I hope you understand what you're doing for this week. I hope you understand that you're submitting to me your conclusion paragraph, and in turn your final essay today. Unless you were a Kahoot winner, then I'll get it tomorrow, and then tomorrow and the following day we'll just be working on Google Forms, surveys, extra credit stuff. Thursday I'm hoping to do kind of a goodbye Zoom call with all of you, and then that is that. You'll have a little bit of more time to work on the surveys if you'd like to, but otherwise, that's all I have for you. So I think this will be my last video on my channel this year, which I'm happy about because they're a lot of work to make. You're happy about because you're sick of listening to my voice. But again, if you're still listening, thank you for a really, really nice year. You freshmen were awesome. I truly enjoyed teaching you, and I do want to say that sincerely in person. I'll say it on the Zoom call. I'll say it again in an email. You guys were a blast. I had so much fun. I was really sad when our time got cut short together. We still had a lot of really cool, fun things that we could have done. And I'm sorry that your year ended like this, but I really do wish you the best. And if you ever need anything, just let me know. All right. So I hope to see you all next year, and I'll talk to you all very soon as the week goes on. But that's pretty much it for my lessons. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.